A boom, 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 boom. Hey, 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 hey.
Hey, you ever see John Lee Hooker?
I didn't see him live, which would be cool. I've seen him on TV perform. Saw B.B. King at the Opera House back in the 90s, which was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I saw B.B. King at Bumbershoot. Does that sound possible?
Yeah, maybe.
I've seen him
Back in the 90s?
I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he
Or
was.
no, I'd say 80s. I would have been in high school. So that
Okay.
would have been probably mid-80s.
Right on.
And he sat and,
Yeah.
At his stool.
His same playing Lucille.
yeah, it's a good gig.
Yeah.
That kid's, I mean, he's paid.
He does pretty good.
I hope so. Oh, man, there was a time.
Rest in peace, BB.
Oh, yeah? Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
About 10 years ago, I
Oh,
think.
all
Time
right.
ago.
Yeah.
He did that album with
That's why he
Eric.
didn't call me back, evidently. All these years.
That's
I've
why you
been
didn't show up at your
pissed.
birthday party either. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I hold the weirdest grudges.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, this guy not even showing. Oh,
Keeping you
dead,
up. Plate warm.
Yeah,
Man.
that's just how, just how you like it. Some Franks and beans in the
He
corner.
did that album with
Yeah.
Eric Clapton, which was pretty good. Riding with the King. Have you heard any of that?
No.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Didn't he also do something with Stevie Ray Vaughan as well?
I don't recall that. It's possible. They maybe did a duet or something.
I think at least one song I know he did something with B.B. King.
Really good album is John Lee Hooker's The Healer. Came out, I think, 89, but he does duets with like Santana and Clapton and I think Steve Winwood. And he does all these cool collaborations
Neat.
before he passed away. But
Yeah.
yeah, in 1989, The Healer. Check that out.
Jeez, right on.
The Healer.
Yeah, John Lee Hooker.
So,
I do like that deep South porch blues
Yeah.
a lot.
Heck yeah. Oh,
Oh, wait, is that?
wait, is that
Does that mean what I
what
think
I
that means?
think it means?
I do believe that means we're recording.
Oh, man. Coming down here once a week to meet with you fellas and
It is.
talk it out. It always feels good.
It is. It's good.
Oh,
Good medicine.
yeah.
It's, I don't know why we're mellow, man.
Probably because we were talking about the blues, and this is kind of a bluesy track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Todd, you let us know when we can kick off this here
I'm pretty
episode.
sure I just did.
Episode
classic.
32 of
Wow.
Our Town Podcast.
Pretty cool.
Coming to you from the historic Renton Civic Theater in beautiful downtown Renton, Washington. And downtown Renton, Washington is where Todd actually wandered the streets in the parade.
Yes. I mean,
was
I
that
wanted the
last
streets
Saturday?
anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, this was with a larger purpose.
And that was just this past weekend, right?
Yeah, that's last Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah, who did you, was it like an organization or
Yeah,
you just kind of jumped in the middle? And,
No, I went down there because Brian from the King Con Northwest, which is a local convention that is about science and what is it? Science and something else, and then cosplay. There's like three things they're all about, and he asked a bunch of cosplayers to come down and walk with him in the
Nice.
parade. So I put on my Ghostbusters gear and walked down 3rd Avenue, and people were looking at me like, "What?" As I'm walking down
they
3rd.
didn't know what a Ghostbuster was, or
They were confused as to why there was a Ghostbuster, a fat Ghostbusters walking down the street.
Well, I
And,
think that's too well.
it's keeping the Stay Puft fresh guy.
yeah.
Oh, hey, yeah,
I
that's
double as
nice.
the Stay Puff, you know.
It's a mashup.
Yeah, but no, it was fun. Because I did that, everybody who dressed up and walked the parade got a free pass for the convention. So
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice. And I think next year we'll do it. We just couldn't get our shit together. I just ran out of time with the Gong Show and
Yeah,
stuff.
plus it's hot, man. Even
is
in the
hot.
morning, it's hot.
We
It
need
wa-
to drive
Yeah.
it.
It
I don't
wasn't.
wanna-
It wasn't
Oh,
that
yeah.
hot, actually. And, you know,
Just drive my van and smoke everybody out. It's just like bit.
And we'll get my kid's got a Barbie Jeep that she's spray
We should-
painted.
Oh, yeah, well, that
and we'll
is
just have her bomb around, give people
yeah.
stickers.
Mike, we should get like a giant like magnetic sign for the side of your van that just says, Our Town Podcast.
No,
on
we'll just
it.
spray paint it on there.
Yeah. Abandon all hope. Ye who listen to our town podcast
I
extraordinaire.
did honestly look for either an ATV or a golf cart to rent because I thought that'd be
yeah.
kind of fun.
Side
for
by
us. So
side, the kids
next
call it.
year, people, get your asses down to the parade because we'll be in it.
Right on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
a
it was
promise,
nice. I made it. So
Yeah.
I thought, I woke up a little late, which was nice. But
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it started
man.
at noon and I got down
Oh.
hour 11, something like that.
Yeah.
Either way, it was.
oh, yeah,
it
no,
was
I got there like
it was
9:45.
It was
To the fair, not the fairgrounds, but to the park.
To the river
Liberty.
days and
Yeah.
such.
Yeah. No, it was cool to see everybody out. If there was lots of people lining the street. As you're walking down, I was not expecting to see that many people just sitting there watching the parade go by. And,
Hungry for candy that we can't deliver.
and of the cosplayers who got the most attention, it was Darth Vader and Spider-Man.
Oh, sure.
Right on.
Yeah, those two guys had people screaming at them from down the street. Hey, Spider-Man! And he's like running back and forth from one side of the street to the other.
Well, right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Next year, everybody. Well, guys, tonight's safe word, and this goes without saying, is a safe word, meatloaf and peas. All right? If anybody has any issues, just
Meatloaf.
yell out meatloaf and peas.
Why meatloaf and peas?
Well, meatloaf, of course, because I'll do anything, but I won't do that. So meatloaf and then
nice.
peas, because peas are good with meatloaf.
Oh, I guess. I don't know. I don't like either, so.
You don't like meatloaf?
Oh, man.
The band or the food or the singer?
Either.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I liked that album when it came out, but in recent years, he was an anti-vaxxer. And,
All right.
I always think that he died in Fight Club.
Fight Club, yeah.
After Fight Club, I pretend he's just been dead.
His name is Robert Paulson. Bob's got bitch tits. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. A couple pieces of news for you guys. Sinead O'Connor, we talked about this little
sucks, yeah.
pre-show, passed away, so rest in
Yes.
peace to her. I know she had sort of a troubled existence
Yeah, poor kid.
in her adult life.
I think she was bipolar, but yeah.
So may she rest in peace finally. And then everybody's favorite frontman, Mick Jagger, if you can believe this, turned 80 years old today.
Geez, happy birthday, Mac.
only
80
80
years old.
I thought
He
he
looks
was
like he's 120.
Well,
right. I mean, actually, I think that Keith Richards is 300.
He's like
3.
3,000 years
Yeah.
old. Yeah, he was serenading Adam and Eve So-
With his guitar, yeah.
with his guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I sure like the Tex-Mex, and I know this is because they had two albums that I really like in 1971 and 72,
Yeah.
I feel like I should always defend the Stones, but it's that was 1972.
Yeah. Which it's only rock and roll.
No, Exile, and Sticky Fingers.
Yeah,
I think they're two perfect
two back to back.
records. They're incredible.
Right, yeah.
They're great records.
Really good records. All right. Well, tonight, guys, and I didn't quite flesh this out hugely. It's something I started working on a couple of weeks ago. So, audience, bear with us as we discuss this stuff. But started thinking about those things that were black days on human existence. But as one does, they can always find a silver lining in stuff, right? So these are bad things that happen, really bad things that happen, but had good things come out of bad circumstance. Does that you guys tracking with me?
Sure.
On that. So the very first one, and hopefully we'll all remember this because we're of a certain age, and this happened in the mid '90s. But O.J. Simpson, when he was going to be arrested, went on a kooky, crazy car chase in his white Bronco through the freeways and streets of L.A. Do you guys remember this?
I do. I remember
It was like
watching
It
this.
went on and on.
I
and
was
on.
Went on and on.
I was at
and
work when it
on
happened.
And on. And so what happened during that is everybody was glued to the TV because they wanted to see what was going to happen next, right? So what ended up happening is people wouldn't stop to make dinner or go out to eat, so they ordered pizza. And Domino's Pizza had just record-breaking sales from that incident, which gave the world more shitty pizza in more locations throughout North America.
Jeez, and yeah, I don't know. Now we still have a lot of high-speed chases.
Yeah.
Nobody's brought back that slow-speed chase again.
That was kind of weird, right? Because you
the whole
wouldn't
thing was
expect
weird.
that. Where's
No.
the nail strip, the spike strip? Where was that? Where's the maneuvers to get them pulled over?
LA
blocking the
PD was
freeways? I mean, what the hell?
was not very well viewed after that whole investigation.
It was ridiculous.
It was bad.
Well, the sucker-
that whole thing was just bonkers.
Was it that he had a gun or something he was like down in the back seat?
I think
hiding?
he was hiding in the back of it,
Claiming that he had a
Cal
gun?
was driving.
Yeah. And he had like a firearm threatening to kill himself or something.
Oh, man,
Yeah,
I don't remember
crazy
that.
stuff. They should have just let him do it. You guys remember Y2K 2000?
Oh,
Does
yeah.
Everybody remember where they were?
In 2000, I was working at Earthlink.
Yeah. That must have been fun. I was working in IT as well, telephone stuff, and so many calls months before this because Y2K was going to wipe out their phone systems. It was going to wipe out, so we had all these patches.
Yeah.
We had all this crap that people paid into to get done. But what Y2K ended up doing was there was not enough IT people in the United States to handle all the stuff, Canada and that stuff. So the first sort of outsourcing of IT happened because of that. Companies started going to India and the Philippines because they could have call centers and IT people over there. So it had this huge boon for Philippines and India to create these IT call centers for like help desk stuff.
I know someone who actually flew to India to train people on our job.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I wouldn't call them our job, but
It's no longer my job, but it was. my
Oh,
job.
you mean your specific? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. No,
Your Earthlink job.
I was doing tier 2 high-speed internet support.
Yeah,
and
it's insane.
so we were. There was rumors floating around that the call center was going to be moved to India, and I was like, "Oh no, that's not true. That's not going to happen."
It's totally what
And
happened.
like 6 months later, it's like, "Yeah, we're sorry, we
we
couldn't
didn't
tell
mean
you." And, fuck you.
And why is that okay? Why is that within the rules of business? Why, right? How
To
come
outsource?
a U.S. company can just outsource anytime
Yeah.
they want? It's like
I don't
It's
necessarily
bonkers.
have a problem with that, but they need to be taxed at a better rate if they're going to offshore those jobs,
Yep.
right?
Oh, and I was going to say another celebrity death was Tony Bennett.
Oh, that's right.
that is
yeah.
true. Oh, yeah. Whoa, yeah, we
Yeah,
were.
the crooner himself.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, what an
That was
amazing
a
guy.
few days ago,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
on
So
the,
we just
on the
come back to that, or
21st.
should we-
So like,
Yeah.
5 days ago.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that
well,
guy,
Yeah, World War II combat veteran.
combat vet,
Yeah.
came back, had a little drug issue, and took some leave of absence in the 70s, I believe, but came back in the 80s
Right.
and kind of blew everybody away and did a whole bunch of duets. And more recently with Lady Gaga.
Oh yeah, and Queen Latifah.
Concerts,
It's like,
Queen
oh yeah, a
Latifah,
bunch of great shit.
yeah.
Man. Oh yeah.
Yeah, what a
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, and through dementia, or was it Alzheimer's?
It might have been, I think,
Yeah.
I heard dementia, but
Yeah, but something like that. So still,
Yeah.
able to work through that through the magic of music,
Right.
perhaps. I don't know.
Well,
But it's-
I think having an active mind also probably helps. I think him actively working on songs and performing, and that allowed him to kind of keep his mind active and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you guys remember this from 1666, the Great London Fire, right?
Oh, yeah.
That burned down. I think
that
it's
Mr.
like
O'Leary's cow.
that was Chicago, wasn't it?
I know.
Or okay,
Wasn't that Guy Fawkes' fault?
maybe. No, that was later too, right? That wasn't 16.
But that's also 1666 is the same year that Newton did his four forces of physics.
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
It's
right.
remember the 5th of November.
Nice. But yeah, the fire destroyed, they estimate, about 13,000 houses, maybe more, a bunch of churches, commercial buildings, stuff like that. But out of that, London started doing better on their infrastructure. So more houses and buildings were built out of stone rather than wood. They made sure that different places in the city had access to water. They created fire brigades, a bunch of stuff like that. So it's like, they learned their lesson. Burn me once and
Sure. Oh no, it's not.
learn that lesson.
That's an old town. I always forget how old London is.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And in fact,
'Cause I bet people are pissed that that's the new neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right. It's like 400 years old, and people are like, "Fuck!" And there goes the neighborhood. That's only a 400-year-old stone
fucking
house.
nouveau.
Yeah. Blew up the whole motif.
Yeah. And Mike, you might be aware of this because you're in construction and stuff, but like when the MGM, I think it was down in Vegas, burned down in the 70s, it was because they didn't have firewall and compartmentalization in buildings, so smoke and flame traveled up riser closets and stuff. And now because of that, especially
that what
in
did
mine,
that then?
yeah, that was what really turned the corner
You have to
on.
have plates and
You got to have plates. You got to seal the wall. You've got to,
It slows it down.
Yeah,
right? It does. It
for
slows
sure.
it down.
Yeah, a couple hours, which gets people out and
gets people out and gives water a chance to get in there, right?
Yeah.
No, that's the goal, is just to slow it the fuck down.
Yeah.
Fires just,
It's a monster for sure.
Geez, I didn't know that was what changed the code or whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't like people being trapped in a building making shirts and shit, right? It's like, no, these partying fuckers down in Vegas.
in the
money.
casino,
Of course.
Got to protect them. But, no, that's what brought a lot of attention to it because they said it wouldn't have burned as fast, obviously. And
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
yeah.
And that's the thing, because you can do a lot of passive, in design, you can have cool air come in on the north face
Right.
and then escape on the south face, right? The hottest part of the house. But then it's also like, well, what if there's an uncontrolled fire? No, it's just like,
Did you guys see that fire that happened right off of, I think it was off of I-5? It was like in an encampment.
No.
There was a fire, and all of a sudden, like, huge explosion. It's like someone's propane tank blew or something.
Yeah.
It was like about a week ago.
Man,
Jeez.
oh man. Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's the thing. And that does not happen often for the amount of, like, propane tanks we have in the United States. You don't hear about them blowing up much because you see them all the time.
It was a pretty good sized fire, too. I mean, and then, like, boom, this huge,
Jeez.
flame just
that's
kind of engulfed all the trees in that area. Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Well, I don't know. They get to do, whatever they want. I don't know. We got to get people out of encampments.
Right.
They need homes like every human being who was lucky enough to live in the 21st century.
Yeah.
Right. We got born at the right time when we could house and feed everybody. So let's house and feed everybody.
Without particularly that much effort. I mean, there's effort and there's stuff, but I mean, if they open it up,
It ain't that hard.
it's not
man.
that hard.
No.
It's really not. Did you guys know that women didn't get to vote in this country until about 1920? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That bong, because we just had the 100th.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah, I mean, but also 100 years ago seems like forever ago.
It does, yeah.
It's not in human history. It's not even really in American history.
I saw
a young place, but
saw a meme today, which was Marty McFly looking sort of confused or anxious, and it said if Marty went back in time today, he would have ended up in 1993. Because remember, he went back to 1953. I'm like, holy shit, where does the time go, man? But for the suffragettes, World War I hit 1916 for us, I believe, and they put aside their protestations and stuff to join in and help the war effort. And because of that, they were looked upon, the suffragettes were looked upon in more favorably in like media and stuff, newspapers, and even by Woodrow Wilson. So some say that because they were able to set aside their agenda to assist with the war effort, that's really boosted them to get the what is it, the 19th Amendment passed.
sure.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah, geez, and I guess because it's more difficult to paint somebody as being unpatriotic with helping with a war effort, right?
Yeah.
But and the whole world changed, right? That was the end of kingdoms.
It really was.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And,
Way back in the Victorian era,
Oh,
tuberculosis influenced fashion. People thought it was in vogue, I guess, to have tuberculosis, or at least look like you did. So they romanticize the disease, the
Pete Davidson
effects of the
look.
disease,
Pete Davidson look.
by wearing cosmetics and outfits to make the person wearing it to look like they had the disease, which was pale skin, thin body, rosy lips.
That's heroin chic now.
Yeah. Pete Davidson. Come on, man.
I mean, it's also the
That kid's
Courtney
doing
Love
just fine,
look,
by the
too,
way.
if you think about it.
Yeah.
well, minus the Birkenstocks and the little black party dress, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Pete Davidson could pull it off.
They probably could. I'd maybe pay to see it. Oh my goodness. Good news on global warming front. I don't know if you guys knew this, but because of global warming, passages up by the North Pole have actually opened up, which allows ships to sail quicker from one side to the other.
Yeah.
So, hey, we found a benefit of global
Yeah, does
warming.
that just end up being international waters then?
I don't know if it becomes Canada or
I don't know.
maybe international.
And part of Russia
Yeah,
too, right?
but the ships have been able to reduce their carbon footprint because they're not traveling as,
'cause they're
as
cutting down
far.
time or whatever.
Yeah, they're cutting down
Yeah,
time.
that's
So
fair,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I think we'd rather have the ice, but
Yeah, that's a little.
and another way
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
this
yeah.
stuff across.
I mean, I'm not against shipping, but I mean, it could be a much less wasteful process.
Well,
right?
like
But,
building it in the country
amazing.
where it's being sold,
Yeah,
rather
there is
than
that.
building it
Yeah.
oceans
and
away, and
subsidizing
shipping it
every
all the
step
way
of the
here.
way, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, because most of those boats, 50% of the ships on the planet right now are carrying petroleum.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Half.
Yeah.
Half.
Yeah,
And
it's
the
nuts.
rules are different between one country and another, between where they can dump, all sorts of weird shit, from bad fuel, coolants, it's, sewage, et cetera,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera, right?
Right.
But it's like, I would like to see international rules, kind of sensible rules on stuff like that, right? It's like, I don't know, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I just love how
Global
you
warming.
started that with "Good news, everyone,"
Yeah.
and it
Global
wasn't.
warming.
And it
the
wasn't.
ice is gone.
The ice is gone. We can travel quicker through the North Pole.
What's it mean for Santa Claus? That's what I'm curious.
I almost expected you just to talk about the revival of Futurama with that opening statement.
Oh, hey.
I haven't heard about it.
No.
Yeah, they just new episode just dropped like 2 days ago on Hulu.
Who was the guy at SummerCon from
That was Fry and
yeah.
Professor Farnsworth.
Did you
and
talk to that guy?
I did for about 5 minutes.
Jeez, right on.
Super nice guy.
Yeah, right on.
Billy West.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like 6 people on that show.
Yeah, is it all the original cast and everything?
Yeah, I think everybody came back. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are they on
I mean, I
Okay.
think John DiMaggio was holding out for more money, but they brought him back. So
Pays a man.
is it
Hey.
going to be on FX or a paid channel?
no, it's on Hulu.
Oh,
The Hulu exclusive.
that's nice.
Nice.
Got that Hulu money now, bro. Fuck if I know. I don't know where they all get their money.
I don't
Well, I
either.
mean, Hulu is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the majority owner of Hulu is Disney. So
I
That's
did not
right.
know that.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah,
forgot
because I
about
didn't
that.
get the bundle, man.
Yeah.
they, I should upgrade to get the bundle. I'm paying for both that and Disney Plus separately.
I think I am too. That's probably stupid.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of natural disasters, the Fukushima nuclear disaster actually helped the conservation of the blue tuna. Because scientists are able to track their movements better, the reason they're able to track them easily is because of all the radioactive isotopes in the tuna.
Oh,
That makes
Made them
sense.
easier
Yeah.
to track. through
Another
the
reason
ocean.
why I don't like tuna.
Wow.
Yeah.
I used to love.
I
There was a restaurant on Capitol Hill called Blocks, and my mom and I would meet my dad up there when I was in kindergarten
Oh,
and have lunch.
cute.
And I'd always get the tuna on rye with the dill pickle spear, and my dad would always eat the second half of the sandwich because I was too little to eat the whole sandwich. It was so friggin' tasty. That's one of my
Jeez,
best
that's
childhood memories.
Oh, yeah. What kind of bread?
I'm coming to realize that I think a lot of the food that I don't like is probably because my mom made it when I was a kid. And my mom, I love her to death, but she was not a good cook.
Neither my mom either.
Yeah, my
man.
mom was awful. A
Awful.
wonderful woman, but
Yeah.
Pork chops
Terrible
in
Applesauce?
mushroom soup.
Oh, that too. Yeah. Oh my
Tuna
God.
casserole.
Yeah.
It's like, Mom, it's like, you just make it so I can put ketchup on it and
Yeah.
get it down.
Right.
Yeah, or just give me a can of tuna fish. Fuck it.
Right.
Yeah. I'll just
Yeah.
eat that shit.
Eat
Fine.
that. Yeah.
Andy,
All that
I don't know
oil
if any
in
of
there.
you've just taken a pan, maybe some oil, and just put a can of tuna. Like, take the water out. You can just sear one side, and it tastes great.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can't eat the tuna anymore because it flares up my gout.
Oh,
but,
sure.
But yeah, I used to love eating some tuna.
Oh, yeah. I just don't know why people turn it into complicated shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's easy.
I think that's only white people that do that.
yeah. I don't know.
That's one of those white people shit things people talk about.
Mayonnaise.
Yeah. Staying in a haunted house.
And putting
shit.
putting raisins in things that don't
I
need
don't
raisins.
know. I'll do a mayonnaise and mustard, like on my sub sandwich, though.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Like
You know
what
what I mean?
What is it?
What-
Like fruit salad, and it's like all of the
Oh,
marshmallows.
like the Our Town salad.
Is it our town salad?
Did you see the post I made? You didn't see that?
No, I missed
it's
it.
the Our Town jiggly salad.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
We are the Jiggly Salad podcast.
You are the
We
jiggly
really
salad.
are.
You got to dive in and pull out something
Yeah, there's
chunky.
something in there that's a little. Like, I like just like a bowl of Christmas candy or whatever. It's like I like this and this, but oh fuck, not this one.
Who put that in
Like,
there? Jesus.
Jiggly salad can be the same way it does.
Oh my.
Did your parents ever make that? Did you guys have the ambrosia? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I think my mom used to make
yeah,
that
for
stuff.
sure.
Isn't that just basically fruit salad?
And variations on it.
Fruit salad
Some of it
with
had
the-
cottage cheese and some didn't.
Oh no, we never had that, and I would
Yeah.
never eat
No,
that
is
because
that
that
olive?
is not
No, I've
food.
never had that one.
That's not
Olives in the
food.
green.
Wow,
the green
that's
salad.
hard.
Is
That's
this green
hardcore.
Jello with other green like fruits and veggies, right?
Yeah. And I love all of these things, but not in gelatin. That would just trip me out.
That's a straight up that's a 70s thing.
That's just nasty.
You
It's
know.
just nasty.
You got those fucking
I'm just trying to think
avocado
of how are you
mustard
serving
colors.
Are you taking slices?
Got to be slices.
Yeah.
It doesn't come out in slices. Let's be real, man. It's
I do
Jello.
like,
It just comes
you
out
know-
in blobs.
Yeah, I was thinking the same kind of like a bunt bowl, but it's kind of like, I don't know if it's cottage cheese and gelatin or something, but then there's fruit
Gross.
shit in there too. And oh, it's just crazy.
That sounds disgusting.
I don't know if that was part of the Depression era, though. Right?
I don't know.
Because it was like,
Yeah.
let's figure out what we can make with what's left in our
Oh, that's
pantry.
weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like Hamburger Helper when you just throw in a can of like like was it fruit salad into it just to add more flavor or
Oh,
whatever.
man.
Hamburger helper?
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
My
if you got it, you got it.
my mom would make some really weird like she'd pour like a can of corn in there or some other thing that you can just add more to it.
My mom made spaghetti one time and then discovered that she didn't have the jar of ragu that she thought she had. So she took a jar of salsa that they had and
Oh, no.
tossed that on there. And she's like,
Same
same thing, man. It's tomatoes and onions.
Yeah, I mean, kinda.
Spicy.
Yeah, and
Love
that's the
you,
thing.
Mom.
I think it's because
Wow.
people follow other people's recipes.
Yeah.
they're not in your household. The person that wrote that recipe, God bless, go forth. But
or
if
they're
they
that-
don't live in your house. They don't know what the fuck you got in the cupboard, right? It's like you have to just
Roll with it.
B, you got to just.
Or they're that
embrace-
person who doesn't put
embrace
all
it.
the ingredients on their ingredient card, so when people try to steal their recipes, they don't have the entire recipe.
Yeah, it's missing the
It's missing the one thing that makes
Missing
it
the
taste
most
good.
important thing.
soul.
You know,
Nice.
like a cup of sugar or 2 cups of sugar.
Yeah, golly.
But I remember being a poor dad, trying to feed my kid,
Yeah.
trying to
Kraft Mac
find
with
something
the
that'll eat,
hot
right?
dogs,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was a common meal around the single dad household. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I can't eat mac and cheese anymore.
No.
I can,
The
but I
whole-
make it myself, and it cost me like $80.
I have to get the non-dairy kind of mac and
yeah,
cheese.
that's
Oh, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good though.
I
made
mean, it's-
grilled cheese sandwiches last night. They were just dumb. They were just like
it's like playing
like
Russian.
a pound of cheese on each sandwich. It's just way too much.
What kind of cheese does a Mike put on his?
Oh well, I do smoked provolone.
Nice.
You put Grey
organic goat
Poupon in it
cheese,
too.
and sharp cheddar.
Nice. Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good mix. Dude.
Yeah.
So it's like
I like
it's
it.
you know.
Well, what kind of bread?
Well, it depends. It's some
White.
Kind of, you know, like a decent
Like
loaf.
Wonder
I did
Bread.
the 3 cheese Asiago or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what they had. But
Okay.
Get
some
get
kind
the Albertsons French bread, right?
Yeah, something like that. But I, tend to get the bread that is pre-sliced because
You
it's
got-
thin.
you gotta get-
heat
you gotta get
transfer is
that-
a little easier because my cutting, I just make barbarian slices
You,
of bread.
you got to get the French bread from Albertsons when it's fresh because it's like the most delicious thing you'll ever had
Right on.
right out of the oven.
Yeah, I don't have an Albertsons nearby.
Yeah.
There's one up in Sunset.
Yeah.
Up in
I mean, that's
the
another
Highlands.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's-
eh,
You know,
I don't trust those people up there.
up there, yeah, the air's rarefied, I hear.
it's right next to that Gold's Gym or whatever the fuck that place is.
Oh man! Well, speaking of grilled cheese, do you guys remember the Heaven's Gate cult?
guys.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
crazy bug-eyed dude.
The people wearing the tracksuits and the Nikes, right?
Yeah, so those Nikes,
Oh.
Todd, were 1993 Air Decade, is what they were called, and Nike removed them from their production.
Who did?
Nike removed them from their production as soon as that happened, and because it was all like, "Oh my God, look at the Nikes these crazies were wearing!" So they removed it from production. Well, those shoes went on to be like a total collector's item.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
And at one point sold on eBay for over $6,000.
Wow.
Because sneakerheads are crazy like
Yeah,
that.
'cause people were just nuts.
Dude, I remember like when I was in middle school, my mom got me some Air Jordans the year after they were popular. So like the
They're
Jordan
still popular.
Yeah.
Jordan. Well, I'm saying like the original the Jordan
yeah.
1s. So like everybody had Jordan 2s or 3s or whatever it was. By the time the year that I got them, I had like them from like 2 years before, and I got teased mercilessly because I had the old Jordans. I didn't have the new Jordans.
Kids are so dumb.
They're dumb.
And now if I would have
I approve this message.
if I would have
Kids are
kept those
dumb.
things, those I could have sold those and got like a car or a house.
Yeah,
Jeez,
yeah,
right,
especially in
yeah.
good shape. Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't in good shape. I was, as a preteen when I had
How
them.
many people died in the Heaven's Gate thing? It was a lot.
It was
I
like,
think it was like 20 or something.
yeah, I was gonna say 15 to 20 people. I think.
Yeah.
I remember that guy being on TV going, "Wow, that guy is not okay."
Wow, they
Seems a
showed
little
the
ding-dong, yeah.
crazy eyes and
The
the.
whole 9 yards.
I think-
it's
I
like
think-
tracksuits. I mean, man, I get it. There's enough Slavic man in me to appreciate.
Gotta have the gold
mean-
chain to go
tracksuit,
with it,
you know?
though.
Yeah, but,
Either it's a cult or it's a really large hip hop group, right?
Right, yeah. They weren't wearing Adidas,
Yeah.
damn it, dummies.
yeah, so close, so close.
I didn't create that joke, by the way. That's a Bobcat
All
Goldthwait
right,
joke.
well, that's a good joke.
His joke was a little different.
Yeah, geez, weird cults. I don't know.
Because that was about the Halley's Comet, right? There was a spaceship that was coming behind
yeah.
the comet or something. that was
I'm
gonna-
sure worldwide.
Yeah,
there were
I think it
a
was
bunch
Halley's
of death
Comet,
cults
yeah.
based on that.
Yeah.
throughout time, I'm sure.
Or whatever the other
man.
comet was that came by. And the thing was Halley's Comet was a thing back when I was like
Yeah,
nine
what
or
was the
9 or
one that-
10.
There's the one that hit Jupiter.
Hale-Bopp
Just-
is what it was.
Yeah, Hale-Bopp.
It was Hale-Bopp.
Yeah.
Yeah, Halley's Comet comes like every, 70 years?
I don't
Yeah, it's
remember
gonna
that.
come back in like 2060.
Well, I
see ya.
mean, good living, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I can stretch it out.
We'll be like in our 80s by the time that comes around. So if we're still alive, then yeah, we'll see it.
I'll be a nano creature.
It'll be an NFT.
Your brain will be in a jar, Mike. We'll keep you.
Yeah, you'll be like those presidents in Futurama.
The screaming brain. Did you guys watch MSNBC or CNN or anything like
No,
that? Fox?
I don't really watch any 24-hour news cycle.
All of those shows, all of those channels have like a ticker on the bottom.
Yeah.
Gives you the news. And all that came about because of 9/11. There was so many different stories and information coming in that I don't remember which news organization started it.
I
but
thought it
all
was a
of them
CNN
started
thing
using-
even previous to that, though. I really did.
I think that
what's that thing
because of
called?
that,
It's not a
called
Riker.
the news ticker.
Oh,
News
okay.
ticker. Actually,
Yeah.
when I was doing live streams with the other podcast I was on, I had a little news ticker down there that showed like the social media stuffs and the.
It's a good place for one-liners too. It really is. You could just zing and not have to be zinging.
Oh, dude, that'd be great. You have have people be able to people commenting on the video, or if they
As you're going.
they promote their comment and we get money from it, and it comes up as one of the things on the ticker. That'd be awesome.
All I heard was get money from it. I'm in.
I don't know. I don't. Since CNN, just how we take in news has changed so radically.
It's just so stupid
Not
too
good.
now, right?
Yeah.
It's just,
We need to bring debate back in school, right? So
Right.
people get how to break down information, right?
Yep.
And
The most recent thing I heard from the news was that Twitter is being rebranded to X.
Yeah, I think
don't
that's a thing.
understand
Yeah.
that at
Yeah.
all.
And it's really funny because apparently Meta owns the rights to that or something. And then over in Japan, Twitter's called Twitter Japan, and they can't call themselves X Japan because that's a band out of Japan. So
Oh my God, that's or he just
So no research done.
no research
Yeah.
done. He just
I'm
and
gonna
it's like
do this.
It's like a stylized X too, and so
Yeah.
it's just like I started seeing stuff about it 3 or 4 days ago, and then all of a sudden, yesterday, I think it was, it switched over on I rarely ever log into Twitter, but I logged into Twitter, and it everything is now black and white, and it says
Stupid.
X
He
at the
is
top.
running that right straight to the ground.
I
Yeah.
think
It's
It's
someone's
going to be
done,
dead.
yeah.
And I don't understand. You spend $40 billion on something just to fucking drive it right to the toilet.
Was it 40? I thought it was only 4. Maybe it is
No,
40.
it was 40. Yeah,
I
for sure.
think it was
but it's
40.
not really money.
It's not.
Right?
Yeah.
It's and I don't know. And that's why our whole system
I think
good looking at.
I think the 40 billion was the number he gave out on the internet. I think he probably paid considerably less than that in real life.
I think he was contractually obligated to pay a certain amount based because he said he was going to buy it at a certain time when the stock valuation was something, whatever it was per share. And so
Right.
they were kind of sticking it.
And
to
then he
him.
was
They
trying to
had
back
stick
out
with
of it, right?
He's like, second that I don't.
Because I think he leaps before he looks. All
Yeah.
I know is I still want a Cybertruck. but we need to examine our systems when things like that, concentrations of power in a media landscape that is based on 2 or 3 different platforms. Having a person in charge of these platforms is terribly dangerous.
I think DeLorean, Texas should sue for the Cybertruck because that truck looks entirely like the DeLorean. If you ask me.
Oh, I didn't know.
Have you seen the truck?
The Cybertruck?
Yeah.
Well, for the one where he threw
model.
the giant ball bearing at the window, right?
I don't know if I saw that, but
Yeah,
I
that's
just
when he
saw
rolled it out. Yeah.
It's the one that looks, it's all,
No, it's insane.
And it looks like the F-117 a little bit.
Kinda.
Angular.
But it's stainless, cold rolled stainless.
Yeah, it looks like
That would be so
like a
much fun.
4x4
we can make a
DeLorean.
gong out of that.
That's the world's most expensive gong by far.
Just get
bonk.
Dude, that's what we should do. We should get a DeLorean, a hood from a DeLorean, and just use that as a gong.
Yeah, because didn't you say they're bringing back DeLorean? And we're
They did,
completely
yeah.
off topic, but
No, they
yeah.
totally did. There's a company out of Texas that bought
There you go.
bought the rights to the name and everything, and bought all the warehouse full of stuff from 1982. that was seized by the government, and then so they have all this new old stock, so they were able to fix all the DeLoreans that have been decaying over the past 40 years.
I would buy one. I just don't want to spend that kind of money on it.
No,
but I would
and
love
Renault.
to have one.
Who puts a Renault drivetrain in a fucking vehicle? Are you mad?
I think
they're one of the just chronically shittiest fucking motor and
I actually
systems ever.
At the car show we had 3 weeks ago, I talked to one of the DeLorean owners, and they said that the biggest problem that they have is the electronics of the car.
Yeah.
They had you had to replace them with some, and I think the alternator needed to be replaced with a more modern one too to make it work right.
I'll tell you who puts a Renault motor in that, Mike. I've been watching a show on Netflix called Rotten, and it's about food that's dangerous, like avocado trade with the Mexican cartels and stuff. But they had one that was an episode that was winemakers in France, and these guys produce millions of gallons of like table wine, right? And it's heavily regulated, and there's battles between distributors bringing in Spanish wine and trying to claim that it's French and all this stuff. Anyway, all these wine producers are all these grizzled French dudes, right? Unshaved, got these crazy long mustaches, and they're all fucking chain smoking, right? Just like, parlez-vous français? We want the wine to be our own. Fuck the Spanish. You know, those are the guys those are the guys doing the Renault.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting show. It's not great, but it's an interesting show. The avocado one was pretty cool.
I did start watching that RDJ show that you were talking about.
RDJ.
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, yes, that's a great show. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, I thought the EV conversion was really cool. And the one I started watching last was the hybrid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the EV they did was the truck, right?
Right.
Truck,
yeah. The Thanos.
Yeah,
inspired
the purple
4x4,
big old 4x4. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Do you think he actually pulled that thing behind him?
I don't know.
I think that was definitely for show. There was no fucking way his EV truck pulled, what was it, 190 tons?
I don't know. It was a big Abrams tank plus the giant truck that hauls the big ass tank.
Right.
Together, he was supposedly
somehow somehow was able to pull it like, was it 4 feet?
Yeah, but
I doubt it.
It's Robert Downey Jr. We'll let it go.
Yeah, it's RDJ.
Yeah, he's got some cool cars. I would love to take a classic hot rod and make it electric or make it biodiesel. That would be a fantasy of mine. But I'm just, time and money and just,
I mentioned it last time we talked about this, but you should definitely check out that Vegas Rat Rod show. If you have Discovery Plus, it is. They basically take an old a lot of the cars they convert are like old 50s, 40s era cars.
Nice.
And they make them look like they've been sitting in the desert for decades. And then they take whatever engine is already in it and put in like a giant fucking diesel in it, and it puts out so much fucking soot when it starts up.
Yep.
Just blah, 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 and all this black smoke comes out. Like, yeah! And I'm like, okay.
Oh, man. Yeah, for a while there, when I had my own company, I wanted to go get a diesel Volkswagen Jetta station wagon and use that as my service vehicle, because there was a place not too far from here that would sell biodiesel.
Yeah.
And so I was going to do that, and I kept looking for the right buy. There was a shop, I think, out in Factoria that was called the Green Store, but they seemed slimier than, they're not there anymore, seemed slimier than other used car dealerships, so I ended up not pulling the trigger on it. But yeah, that was my goal at one point.
Yeah, I do. I like the concept.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, back at the podcast.
Oh, hey.
Meanwhile.
Did you guys know, do you remember the 2004, the Indian Ocean tsunami that wiped out just a ton of people. Was it Myanmar area? Well, sea creature populations grew pretty rapidly and extensively because after the tsunami, people quit eating in those areas, quit eating seafood for a while. And the reason they did was because the sea creatures would feed on grandma who got carried out to sea, and people didn't want to eat the sea creature that probably ate, cousin Joe or whatever.
Yeah. So like if you ate any seafood in the last, was it month and a half? We may have eaten some billionaires.
Yeah.
Oh man, you might
Yes,
have
crustaceans.
Maybe
there's some lobster.
It's been a little,
not that deep down. Something.
Yeah.
That's deep as fuck.
That's
those
deep as
guys.
fuck.
Yeah. I actually saw someone making that reference. Like, if you really want to eat the rich, now is the time to eat some tuna.
Some seafood. It's gross. I remember there was an episode of Married with Children where I think it was Peg or somebody threw away the ashes in Al's barbecue, right? And that's how he got the flavors, because he had all these old ashes in there. And so to make up for it, he poured Peg's mom's ashes into the barbecue. And then when they found out about it, Al was just eating the sandwich and just smiling because it tasted so good.
I don't know if it would taste good, man. I wouldn't want to be eating anything that tasted like my mother-in-law.
Most of the ashes come from the container that the body
I know.
is in, but there may be a tooth or something in there.
Yeah,
Who knows?
it's symbolic.
Yeah. I heard rumors a couple years back of a revival of Married with Children, but it was going to be animated. I don't know if it ever went anywhere though.
I ended up spending an afternoon in a crematorium running cable one time, and that was a
Chained to the radiator.
gnarly
Chained to the radiator, and the key to the handcuffs
pretty gnarly to be down there by yourself
in your assistant's stomach, and you have to dig it out.
Yeah. There was a body waiting to go in. It was in a cardboard box, and we had to run. And we were running the cable on top of a conduit, which you're not supposed to do, but we were running on top of the conduit, and the conduit had a good thick amount of dust on it, and it was just not a good, a good feeling. And then the box with the bodies like behind you, so you're constantly kind of like that.
Keep waiting for him to set up.
That move.
Oh my God.
Now, my favorite part was I went and found my buddy Ed, who was working upstairs, and I walked in on a conversation he was having with the maintenance manager there. And Ed was talking about when he died, he hoped that his family would just dig a hole in the backyard and toss him in, cover it up, no fanfare, all that stuff. And Alan, who was the maintenance guy there, said, "Not me, man. I want to be cremated, dropped into a douche bag, and run through one more time."
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
And I just fucking stopped.
Thank you for sharing that
Made
with
a
the rest of us.
360 or a 180 and walked out the room. I was like, nope, I'm done. I'm out.
Goodbye.
I'm out.
Dude, that is, yeah. Oh, man. Okay.
Well, speaking of death, the Black Death,
Oh.
way back in the Middle Ages,
be so much better.
it had a positive effect that it rose wages for manual laborers. It improved health care and invigorated the economy in general. Why? Because there wasn't a lot of workers around, so people could demand.
They just
it's kind of the same
dying.
thing that happened recently around here, right? Because companies finally realized, we got to start paying a better wage to attract people to come in.
They're trying to raise the minimum here in Renton to, I think, 19 or something.
Oh, good. Still not enough, everybody. It's still not
It's
enough.
not.
No, but
yeah.
it's in one of those
But it's a
things
step,
that
yeah.
I really think needs to be.
I think
It's bigger than a municipal to municipal to municipal, right? It's not up to individual cities,
I
right?
think
We have to pressure. This kind of stuff has to be nationwide. Just like
Yeah, so what is it nationwide? Is it still,
it's still like
725?
Yeah,
It's asinine.
It's just dumb.
I heard sometime in the last few months that the minimum you would need to make an hour to be able to live comfortably in Western Washington is like $30 an hour.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's a thing.
If
Let
you're
alone
on your
credit.
own, probably. If you have,
Yeah,
If you got a family and
partner or something.
daycare,
Yeah,
and all
all
this other
that stuff
shit,
thrown
it's
in.
like,
I
oh
don't know.
my
I
God,
think
man,
it'd be
everything's
easier if
expensive.
you weren't alone and you weren't the only person paying
that's what I
those
mean.
bills.
Yeah, if you just had another, but if you had add kids into the mix,
Yeah, because they don't bring an income.
Kids
Fucking
are
freeloaders.
expensive.
They are. Fuck. So
Yeah,
I
you
approve
should
the
make
message.
those kids
are
work,
dumb.
man. Put them to work.
wait, what was that message, Mike?
They're expensive. They
Make-
just eat all the
You
time.
know, when they turn 15, they should just
And
get
then
a
they
job
want
at
shit
McDonald's.
like shoes
Yeah.
and underwear.
Yeah,
I think every kid when they turn 15 should be made to go work some sort of customer service job.
I guess. I think we all just need a UBI, dude, so we can do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
flipping burgers
Who's gonna
or
pay for
pushing
it, Mike?
shopping carts.
There's that joke from one of my favorite comedians, Daniel Tosh, where he says that everybody should be forced to be a server for 1 year out of their life.
Yeah.
Then they can realize that their ranch dressing isn't that fucking important.
It's true. I've heard. That's the thing.
People nut the fuck up.
Most of the jobs I've had in my lifetime have all been customer service type jobs, whether it be, pushing shopping carts, flipping burgers, doing tech support, whatever. I'm always at the beck and call of whoever's talking to me. They're the ones that I have to make happy. My boss doesn't give two shits what I'm doing as long as I'm there on time, So yeah, I think every CEO of every company needs to spend a minimum of a month working the job of the lowest paid person in their company.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what it is.
And see how it feels to be treated like absolute garbage by random people.
Yeah, but I think humans need to bring to make being humble cool again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's it's
Absolutely.
interesting. Just because we're all very fortunate to have been born when we got born, right?
Yeah.
So,
And in the country we're in.
yeah, put some
Yeah.
gratitude in that attitude, people.
Yeah.
Although I think there's some countries that are better off than we are.
Oh, sure.
I wouldn't mind living
But
in
there's
those places.
plenty that are,
Way worse, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yep. Here's sort of a bad one. Well, maybe good. I don't know. You find the silver lining here for me, Todd.
It's the mercury.
Prohibition was repealed, which took away a major money source from the mafia and the mob, right?
Yeah.
But because of that, they found an alternative new source in drug trafficking, bringing in probably more specifically cocaine and reefer madness back then, right? Heroin. Yeah.
Pot.
I don't know where the silver lining is in that. That might be a reverse one.
I don't think that's a real. I mean, if that's a silver lining, that's mercury. So yeah, it's
don't
not.
think that's-
It
and that's the
didn't get
difficulty
better.
in-
They started working with things that are way more dangerous. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
alcohol
that's
is
pretty
not
dangerous.
good in large quantities, but it's not as bad as large quantities of coke or heroin. So
Yeah, I think statistically it still kills more people. But
Which one? Alcohol?
Alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
that's
not
because
for
the
long. Now I
access
think we've
is
got the
probably-
super drugs and shit.
Yeah,
Like,
holy crap.
it's
Yeah.
insane. It's insane.
Fentanyl?
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck are we thinking?
isn't that like a derivative of meth?
What's that?
Fentanyl?
No. It's like a super pain reliever for like cancer patients or people just like out of surgery. So it's like a super duper painkiller.
Isn't that what, was that what killed Michael Jackson? Wasn't he administered?
I don't know if it was fentanyl brand fentanyl. Yeah, it could have
But
been.
It may have been like
any
an
of those, any
off-brand,
of
but
those,
he's wealthy enough that he didn't get the off-brand stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and just his doctor was just shopping for him, right? And I don't know if his doctor was actually going to pharmacies or just going to chemists or what he was doing, right? And it's like, and that's the thing. I don't know. We need to find out why people are running to oblivion, right? Why are people,
Well, I mean,
right? Because once you're addicted, that's one thing. But why are people knowing the dangers? Why,
Yeah.
right? Why are
It's
people
not
going?
like it hasn't been in our face that drugs are bad for, years.
Yeah.
where did you go? You disappeared for a second there.
Yeah.
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 Little John Cena there.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of being lost, Hurricane Katrina, which was
That
horrible
bitch.
for the city of New Orleans.
That was
One of my favorite cities that I visited was down there before Hurricane Katrina. I was down there after Hurricane Katrina, but that bitch, as Mike said, stirred up
That was me.
so much sediment from Lake Pontchartrain, which is right on the shores of New Orleans.
Nolans.
It created so much sediment out of Lake Pontchartrain that spread all over the city of New Orleans that it actually covered up all the lead that was in the ground dirt around New Orleans. So much so that as they've been testing children's blood for surveys, they found less lead poisoning than they did in previous years and stuff. So it actually had a good effect that way, even though.
So is that why people are staying in areas that are below the sea level? Lead poisoning.
Such a weird place to put. I mean, it is a
I'm sure
hub city,
it's
right?
a beautiful place, I'm sure, but I wouldn't want to live anywhere that like a randomly a flood could just take out the entire city.
Yeah,
You know?
they've done a pretty good job with the
Like dams and levees and
well,
shit.
the levees, yeah, and stuff like that, and give it up for the Army Corps of Engineers.
Sure. But it also took, well, and even then, but I mean, millions of years and millions and millions and millions of acres of wetlands,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's an interesting city. It's definitely an interesting city.
That's someplace I've never been. I don't know if I'll ever
I've
go.
spent very little time there.
Yeah, it's a fun city.
It's one of the music capitals of the planet.
It really is, yeah. In fact, tomorrow night I'm going to a concert. Trombone Shorty, who is from New Orleans, in influence, you can hear it in his music because he's very jazz, funk, rock
Nice.
stuff. So I'm going to check him out at the Chateau Saint Michel.
Yeah.
When you guys are watching this, I've already been to the show. So
Well, how was it?
it was great. Let me tell you.
Chateau Saint Michel out there in Woodinville, Washington.
Yeah, never been.
No,
I've driven past it many times.
I've never
We used to
seen a
live out
show
that way.
there, but I've been to the winery. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they've had shows out there for 30 years almost.
Don't they also
right?
have,
Long
like-
time.
it's been a while.
They also have concerts over at the state park over there too. Over
In Redmond or in Woodinville?
Redmond.
Yeah, all right.
Same area though. I mean, it's
like Marymore or something?
Marymore. Yeah, that's
no,
the one.
Marymore's
I was
right.
trying to remember the name of the park, but yeah,
Yeah.
they have movies in the park too. I think.
I saw the last concert I went to at Marymore was Pretenders, and they had Cat Power and Juliet Lewis, Juliet in the Licks, open for him. And it was a really good show.
I didn't know Juliet Lewis was in a band.
Yeah.
Sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I guess when you stop making money with movies, you got to make it someplace.
Oh, she's doing just fine. She's got that show out right now.
She has a show.
Oh yeah, man, it is.
Showtime, yeah, no.
Yeah,
What?
Yellow Jacket.
Oh, she's on Yellow Jackets. I didn't
Her
know.
and
Yeah.
Christina Ricci.
Ricci.
I know Christina Ricci was in it. I didn't know that she was
Juliet
in there.
Lewis, yeah. Juliet Lewis can play crazy. She's really good.
Yeah. Well, I think it helps that she's a Scientologist, so she's not really playing crazy.
And her dad was from, oh man, I wish I remembered his name because he was a Hollywood actor as well.
Yeah. I think
I can't
that,
remember his name, but he was in a bunch of stuff in the 70s.
I was gonna say
Totally
I was
recognized.
gonna say Al, but that's not Al Lewis. That's Grandpa Munster. But God, now I have to look it up.
Oh, yeah, no, she's in Cape Fear.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
it's
Brilliant
rough.
in that.
Oh, yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
She was also in
Natural Born Killer.
She was also in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
And, what's the Strange Days? She plays a mean lady in Strange Days.
Yep.
That's a really rough find.
California with a K with Brad
Yeah.
Pitt. Remember
Yeah.
that? She
Yeah.
was a bit bonkers in that
Yeah.
one, too. Yeah. What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Much less bonkers.
Much less bonkers in that one, for sure. Well, speaking of performers,
Juliet Lewis.
the New York blackout of 1977. Apparently, the thought is that a lightning bolt struck a transformer. The blackout lasted for 25 hours, and heavy looting occurred throughout the city. But it did have a good effect. with the looting, since many aspiring DJs who couldn't afford turntables and mixers and other equipment were able to get their hands on some of that equipment.
Well,
they say that
there was a
hip hop
big sale afterward.
They say that hip hop, more DJs and started to appear on the scene.
I heard it was black lightning that struck that transformer.
Must have been it. Must have been.
I don't know. That's fascinating. Yeah, like you say, just unintended circumstances.
Unintended circumstances,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. But yeah, who knows, man? Would we have gotten, LL Cool J?
Yeah.
Would we have gotten Run DMC? Probably.
Yeah,
but
that early stuff.
But that early stuff, I mean, it spread like wildfire. And
That's neat.
yeah.
I mean, besides the stealing part.
Besides the stealing part, but
There's a show on Netflix that talks about that blackout and the early days of hip hop and how it started.
was it the fictional show? Because
I think it was
enjoyed
fiction.
that.
It was fictional. It starred like fucking Smith.
Jaden Smith.
Jaden Smith.
Yeah, he was in it. It was actually a fun show, and I
It was
enjoyed watching it. They only did a season of it. They were going to bring it back, but
It got
then
canceled because of that. It got canceled because of the cost of making it.
Yeah, but it was a fun show. Yeah.
Unlike the cost of producing us, which can be waylaid, like the strongest, tree in the forest, right?
Yeah. And you can help with that.
You
by
can help with that.
joining our members only section at ourtownpodcast.com.
Great segue, guys. It's only $3 a month or $30 a year. Costs you less than a cup of coffee a month to get more content from us, including blogs and bonus rounds and extra show and all kinds of stuff. You just kind of go. And just recently added in there is clips from our Gong show from a few weeks ago. So worth the price of admission right there.
Guys, see the clips
I got to
from the Gong
promote
show.
that more. I haven't had time. I've had ants in the house. We've had friggin' ants. So much so I had to fire an exterminator company that we had been using, and got really pissed yesterday. I was about to blow up on somebody because I called in. I emailed in, said, hey, please cancel our service. If there's any credit, go ahead and mail it back. But we don't need you guys anymore. It's ineffective. We don't want to keep paying. And then I get an email back, oh, we need you to call in because we need a voice thing. I'm like, you don't need a voice thing. Please, this is the email you have on file. Just go ahead and cancel. And she wrote back and said, no, in your contract, it says that we need either a written letter with an actual wet signature or a phone call. I'm like, all right, fine. So I call in, I get this snarky bastard on the phone, and he's like, and it wasn't even like, oh, so what's going on? It wasn't effective? What's happening? It was, oh, so you want to cancel? Okay, well, we gave you a discounted rate, so if you cancel, you're going to owe us $294. And I'm like, excuse me? And he's like, yeah. So we kind of went round and round for a little while, and you could just feel the curly mustache on the other end of the phone, right? I'm like, if you want to play that game, dude, I can blow you up on Better Business Bureau. I can blow you up on all the
sure.
all the
review sides.
Get my $300
if you want to do that. And he's like, well, I don't know about that, but I've got a signature right here that says you know on the contract. I'm like, all right, we'll play that game. So I hung up on him, and then thankfully about an hour later, I got a call from a manager there who was a sane human being who actually said, tell me what's going on. And I explained to her, I said, you guys came out right after you left. Within a week, we had ants all over the house. And then we found a hornet's nest. You guys came out to treat the hornet's nest. Your technician broke one of my little tchotchkes on the front porch, which is not a big deal, but he just ended up leaving. He didn't even treat the whole house. He just shot the hornets. You guys said you were going to treat the whole house. He didn't do that. I said, it's just not effective. We're just going to go ahead and cancel is all we want to do. No harm, no foul. Right? We've already paid you. Done. And she said, okay, completely understand. Let's go ahead and cancel you out, no cost, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fine.
So-
There you go.
Friggin'
So-
human
yeah.
being.
So let's go ahead and tell everybody who not to use then.
No, I'm not going to go there because I promised to end it amicably. But I had another nice young man from another company come out, and he took care of us yesterday. And really nice kid, enjoyed his company for about an hour while he went around the house and treated different areas.
Yeah, what kind of ants? Like sugar ants? Or?
Yeah, he thought they were pavement ants. He said they were bigger than sugar ants, but he was surprised to see them in the house. So, and we've had them pop up in different areas. I think they were there when you came out to the house and helped me with a few things, Mike. I don't know if you remember that. That was a few months ago.
Yeah,
But
bummer.
I've been kind of chasing them around the house.
Yeah.
You know, you put a bait trap here, and they disappear for a while, and then they pop up
Yeah,
in another part. So
Yeah, they can make it through.
there's a
foundation.
colony somewhere.
Yeah.
So hopefully this takes
The
care.
center of the earth.
Because I am master of my domain, and I will not tolerate.
Just don't give them any radioactive isotopes.
That's how it
So I
always
can track
happens.
'em.
Yeah.
track them through the. through
So
the
you
ocean.
track them, and all of a sudden they become 18 feet tall,
I know. Get some.
Man,
like the movie Them.
Yes, classic.
man, oh man. Well, here's a couple of early deaths. Back to the podcast. Here's a couple of early deaths that were sad and black clouds on America, but did have somewhat of a silver lining. You guys will remember the death of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin.
The
Yeah.
murder of Trayvon.
The murder of Trayvon Martin by that guy that was pretending to be a
Yeah, what a piece of shit.
what,
And
what'd you call it?
then really-
watch guy.
Yeah.
Did not need to do anything
he
that
was
he
Because
did.
they
told
have
by the
standard
police
ground
not to do
laws.
so.
It's just
And,
ridiculous.
No, and then he showed, for years and years and years afterwards, what an incredible piece of shit he is.
Yeah.
Didn't he show up at like some sort of gathering with Kyle Rittenhouse where they both were like keynote speakers or some shit?
I
maybe.
wouldn't put it past
Maybe.
it, but because of that, Trayvon Martin became a household name, and the Black Lives Matter movement became a national movement, and focus on police conduct as it relates to minority populations became a big spotlight and focus across the country, and it's still ongoing. There's still issues with it now, but at least we're more aware of what's happening. And 17-year-old kid had to lose his life because he went to the store to buy a pack of Skittles.
Sure. And just for the record, you can't be armed, go pick a fight with somebody,
Right.
and then when you're getting your ass kicked, then shoot them.
Then shoot him.
Right?
And say I
That's
was
not
I was
standing your
defending
ground,
myself.
right?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's being a dick.
That's just murder.
yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Allegedly.
My goodness. Well, also, the death of 9-year-old Amber Hagerman down in Texas, down in Arlington, Texas, 1996, was abducted as she was riding
geez.
her bike in a abandoned or a closed down supermarket parking lot. Riding her bike, got abducted. They found her body about 5 miles away. A few days later, but a caller, a radio show was talking about the kidnapping and the aftermath and all this, and a caller called in and said, if people saw that, they may not understand what they're looking at, right? It could be just a angry dad grabbing his daughter and telling her to come home. It could be all this stuff. So they needed a way for people to call quickly into the police and have the police broadcast out that a kidnapping took place. So she is the namesake for Amber Alert.
Amber Alert.
Which is a national thing.
I think
For
I'm
kidnapped kids? Is that what that
for
is?
any, they have the Silver Alert too. but
missing
yeah,
children is
missing-
Amber, and then Silver Alert is for senior citizens.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only person probably on this stage here that has the Amber Alerts thing disabled on their phone because they're so obnoxious, and I'm never in the area
I
where
don't
those
get
things
'em.
happen.
I bet I didn't disable it, but I don't remember. I have gotten them, and it'll give you a license plate or something.
It gives you
It
like
gives you
the-
much
the-
information.
it gives you a bunch
But
of information about
not
the car.
recently. And
Yeah.
I don't know if that means
I haven't had
I
it
haven't
in a
had
long
one
time.
in a while.
Yeah.
But it's like the most intrusive thing I've ever had on my phone. Just like randomly just blaring.
yeah. I have my phone on silent or vibrate or whatever anyway. So it's like, I guess I don't.
Most
It
of the
doesn't
time I
matter.
do, too.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you have it on Do Not Disturb; it will still come through. It'd be like that. It's that emergency. When they play the fax tones over the TV.
And hopefully, if people have been listening to the podcast, we've had a couple of breaks here where we talked about that kids are dumb and kids eat. Quit stealing kids. Why do you want that added expense in your life?
God.
You know what I mean? If you're gonna steal some, go steal some fucking food or
sick
something, right?
motherfucker.
The vast
Just leave the
majority of
kids
people
alone.
that steal kids are one of the parents who are not the
The
Custodian,
custodial parents.
yeah.
Yeah, and I don't mean to be joking about that because it's obviously fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It is.
But I do mean to be joking about it, but I also recognize that it's awful.
we're Generation X. We have to make light of serious
Yeah.
things sometimes because it's otherwise too serious, and it kind of
Yeah, it's
brings down
bonkers. Yeah.
it brings down everybody.
The vibe, man.
I was gonna say that, but it's like I don't want to sound like
Well, we grew up with stranger danger and stuff, right?
I don't know you.
McGruff and all that stuff. I'm watching.
I don't. My parents never really told me not to talk to.
Go ahead. If they're offering you candy,
How
get
about
one
over
for
there,
me.
Mike?
I actually got approached by a little old lady at the VA hospital in Seattle when I was real little, and my sister came over and grabbed me and said, "We're not taking candy from strangers."
No, it is.
I was like, "She was going to give me a Werther's original. What are you talking about?"
Dare you?
Goodness,
Yeah.
my
I don't remember trying to snatch. Was I just a hideous child or something? The fuck, man, I thought I was cute. I was sweaty. They're
Mike-
too slippery. They were grabbing for you. I was just too sweaty all the time.
just slipped right out of their fingers. Butter Mike is what they used to call.
Well, Mike, were you fed with a slingshot? Maybe that could tell you.
No, I remember walking home. I think we were coming home from a little supermarket, a little store. My friend and I were walking behind my sister and his sister, who were probably 10 or 15 paces in front of us, and a car whipped in and pulled up right next to the girls, and the door flipped open, and my buddy and I, we're all like, I don't know, 12, 11, somewhere in there. And we're like, what's going on? So we kind of stopped and looked, and then the car shot away, and the door slammed and shot away, and the girls were just like looking at each other like, what the hell? So we ran up and we're like, what's going on? The guy opened the door. The two guys that were in the car didn't have any pants on. They were exposing themselves to the girls.
That's
And it's like,
worse.
what the hell?
Yeah. And there was more than one dude
There's
in the
one
car.
guy driving and one guy in the
Oh,
passenger seat.
man, that's
and
some shit.
I remember they both had their pants off, and it's like they probably went and jacked each other off somewhere, right? But that's how they get off. It's like, what?
And how old were
Really?
the kid?
I think my sister's a year older than me. I think I was probably 11, 12. She might have been
What the
13.
fuck is wrong
Yeah.
with people?
Stupid people. Man.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
that's beyond
weird,
stupid.
dude.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
and that's in a really nice
I mean,
neighborhood.
everybody
in
knows
Seattle,
you keep that,
right?
where it belongs.
Right.
At highway rest stops.
or in the back,
Pay for it like an adult.
or in the back room at church.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah, well, leave the kids out of it, obviously, right? Let them just be fucking kids for
in
a
the
minute.
communion
Jeez.
wine closet,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, man. What is wrong with people?
Yeah. I'm watching Knock at the Cabin last night.
Oh, Knock
the
at-
new
oh, yeah, yeah,
M.
yeah.
Night Shyamalan.
Sure. All right.
And the first part of the movie is this little girl who's part of the main cast, and she sees friggin' Batista coming out of the woods, walking directly. He stops and he looks at her and he stares at her for a minute. She didn't jump up and fucking bolt to the cabin. She stands there and watches as he walks towards
As
her.
a giant
I'm like,
human.
run! This is not good. Run! And he was a super nice guy, but it's like,
bitch, he's
sits
gonna
down.
kill you.
introduces himself to her. It's like, let's catch grasshoppers together. Okay. And I'm like, where are your parents at? But they're out in the middle of the woods in a cabin and probably didn't expect anybody to show up. But
Well, yeah, I don't know.
man, my little 6-year-old, I'm not taking any chances with motherfuckers. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember being Hawkeye with my kid at the park, like super Hawkeye.
Hell yeah.
Not into it.
yep, not at all. Got to go to the bathroom. We're going together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, just because. Humans,
Boy,
I mean,
worst.
present company excluded or Wiley.
Well, you don't know me.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Man, oh man. Well, those are the silver linings in the black clouds that I could come up with. You guys, can you think of any others that sort of remember?
Unintended consequence.
Yeah.
I'm thinking stuff like penicillin.
Did
They
it-
meant to do that. I guess LSD was an accident,
Did
right?
they mean to find penicillin?
I think that was an accident. But wasn't there something that happened because of baby Jessica?
Down the well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they put...
Who's dropping a baby down a well?
Who lets their baby crawl over to the well and drop
Someone who's
down?
busy playing video games or reading a book.
Yeah, you think
Yeah,
that chick's
they're playing
got claustrophobia
Activision at
now?
home.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know on how that you have to put a cover over your
I
well
would
or
think
something.
so, yeah.
I mean, I think at that point people started doing that just because they were afraid that was going to happen to their kids.
Yeah. There was, we
Fucked
talked
up.
about...
Did baby Jessica get out, or did she?
Yeah,
die?
she did.
Okay.
She's she's in her 30s now.
I know.
Is she hot?
Old.
Oh my God, Mike.
Has she done like an FHM pictorial or anything?
Oh, dude. Yeah, I'm sure she did a swimsuit centerfold.
Oh my god.
I was in the well.
Oh, it's bonkers.
We talked, was it last week we talked about the Tylenol guy that died?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that's an unintended consequence, right?
Yeah,
He
now we have those
poisoned all
safety
the
things that keep us from being able to open the bottles.
yeah.
Grandma can't get to her medicine because her arthritis won't let her open the bottle.
I did find out that you can pull those things off and they've just become normal caps.
Oh,
You
Yes.
actually pull the edges. If you pull on the edges, the part that spins that like you have to push down on for it to open, that comes off.
Oh.
You just have to pull up on the edge and then slowly pull it off. And it
yeah.
becomes,
Those the child-proof caps. Yeah. I guess the safety seal is kind of. They kind of go part and parcel, but they're.
yeah, I think that's definitely a thing that is on a lot of things, not just medication. It's on food now too.
Oh yeah. And has anybody done a check on ice cream? Because weren't we debating whether or not ice cream had
I
that
mentioned
safety
how I
seal?
actually bought
Has
some
anybody-
ice cream that didn't have a seal on it, and
Yeah.
I thought it was weird that it didn't have a seal.
Have you bought ice cream since?
Yeah, and the thing is, there was nothing. I didn't see anything wrong with it, and I didn't have any problems because of that ice cream either.
Yeah, geez.
Or if I did, I just thought it was because of lactose intolerance.
She's not unattractive.
Oh, is that baby
That's
Jessica?
baby Jessica.
Oh, geez.
She looks like a healthy young woman.
You're gonna have to put that up on the screen, like right here.
Nope.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
Because I have to watch the
Google
whole
machine, yeah.
episode and try to figure out where
Y'all
it
could Google
was.
baby Jessica.
Like
It's like,
40 minutes.
if she wants to slide into my DMs.
God, Mike.
Come on.
Mary's not
Yeah,
watching.
no, it is comedy. Come on. Come on.
It's a terrible joke, but it is a joke.
Yeah.
70 minutes.
Because they're in dark and good and tightly enclosed place, my DMs. But maybe she kind of missed the, well.
She didn't
No,
miss so well.
no.
That's part of the problem.
Never
right
mind.
in.
All
Fell
right.
right in.
Yeah.
Oh,
We need a Ric Flair. Woo!
we do.
I can make that happen.
brother.
I can't do it. Hold up. Maybe I can do that.
You can
can't
eat
do
your
it,
vitamins.
Blair.
You can say your prayers. But it's not going to save you, brother.
That's a good Hogan.
Apparently not going to save his hair either.
Ah.
And vitamin, all that pasta.
Thunder
I
lips.
think.
Yeah.
Well, I got a couple of quotes based on silver lining stuff, which I thought were kind of fun. The first one is by somebody named Terry Virts, who wrote a book called How to Astronaut, Everything You Need to Know Before Leaving Earth. Their quote is, you weren't entirely useless. You served as a bad example. Oh, man, that fits me well. The other one is by a guy named E.L. Kirsten, and this guy was somebody, those motivational pictures that offices have, like of the soar like an eagle kind of thing, stuff like that. This guy came up with a company that sort of does funny versions of that. Like they'll have a picture of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and it'll say something to the effect of mediocrity is fine. Oh man, I had it there. I can't remember exactly what it was, but some just joking on this. So his was, every dark cloud has a silver lining, but lightning kills hundreds of people each year who try to find it.
Yeah. Demotivational.
Demotivational.
Yeah. There was a whole series of those. Yeah, I remember those came out in like the early to mid 2000s.
Yeah, I watched him on a TED Talk in 2000. He gave it in 2012, and he talked about being at a company that was going to pay him in low salary, but he was going to get a ton of stock options. But the guy that started the company, the president of the company, did not issue the stocks. He kind of hemmed and hawed and didn't issue the stocks. And by the time he did, the stocks had already reached a monetary level, which they all thought it would hit anyway. So they didn't get in when the stocks were at like a penny a stock, and then they sold it, hundreds of dollars a stock. So it was like, here's your stock. It's still worth money, but it wasn't like it grew exponentially. So he was disenchanted with that, and that's how him and this other guy in the company started this demotivational stuff.
You can actually buy the posters on his website too. I'm seeing here.
Yeah. What's the mediocrity one? I was trying to remember it was a funny quote.
Mediocrity. I'm looking.
Something like it's good enough for everybody else or something like that. Because he talked about it. He was like, there's only going to be one winner and a whole bunch of losers, right? And chances are, with the population here, on averages, I'm looking at a whole bunch of losers because you didn't win, right? And I'm one of you. So it was kind of his shtick, and it was pretty funny.
That is funny.
Talking about it. So
it's not untrue. It's just
not
uncommonly.
It's just not nice to hear that you suck just as much as everybody else.
Yeah. Nobody won.
Yeah. You guys got anything? Any
Never.
shows? Any books? Any new albums that you've read? I finally got my signed Iggy Pop album finally showed up.
All right.
And I haven't even it came in a day or two ago. I haven't even had a chance to listen to it. I've heard some of the songs on the album anyway. But
what is it?
I can't even remember the name of the album, but it just came out. So I bought it in December, and it was supposed to release in February, but because I'm sure he didn't sign them in time or didn't sign enough of them, I didn't get my copy until fucking July. Thanks, Iggy. But I love you, Iggy.
I found it.
Iggy's great.
There
it is. Yeah, that's the one.
Mediocrity. It takes a lot less time, and most people won't notice the difference until it's too late. So the thing that I recently saw, and I binged watched the whole series, was that Harrison Ford series on Apple.
Oh, with Jason Segel.
Yeah,
how's that?
What is it?
It's called Shrinking, and it's they're both therapists, and like Harrison Ford is like the boss. He runs the company, and Jason Segel's character is like having like a midlife crisis, as he's talking to a client. He like tells them to, you know what, you should just dump that asshole. I'm tired of hearing you whine about this guy and then like still stay with the fucker. What's wrong with you?
Oh man, that's true though. It's like, well, if fucking hitting your head against the wall is not helping, maybe you should stop hitting your head against the wall.
And by the end of the series, she actually does dump the dude. So, but it's like 10 episodes in that she figures it out.
Nice.
But that's a good show if you don't have. You can do like the 7-day trial and watch it in one day if you don't have anything else going on.
Yeah. Got the Apple TV. We watched Silo on that, which I thought was a pretty good sci-fi series. And I'm trying to think of what the other show we watch on Apple. I can't think of it now. Oh, Ted Lasso. We were watching Ted Lasso.
I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, it's a fun show. The last season wasn't as great, but still enjoyed it. It's just uplifting, feel good, kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. There's another show that's on Apple that there's Amazing Stories. There's a new version of Amazing Stories, but it only got one season.
Yeah. I'd watch.
And it was like, and I recognized a few of them as like remakes of the old show.
Because that was like a Sunday night thing, right?
I don't
Back in the
remember that.
80s.
Yeah, it came out in 1985. It was like a 30-minute episode.
That was the one that had Mark Hamill when
Yeah.
he was,
Like real people, but different.
No. This was like an anthology series. Each episode was a different story.
Yeah.
And the one
geez,
he's talking
that's
about,
great.
Mark Hamill plays a guy who's a bit of a hoarder and a collector.
Yeah.
And he's like, he holds
gets-
on to all of his stuff all of his life, and he's like 85 years old, and he's trying to scrounge up enough change to put gas in his car, and someone pulls up next to him and sees he has like a doll in the back seat of his car with a bunch of other crap, and they say, "Hey, is that such and such?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'll give you 10 for it." He's like, "Yeah, I could use that. I could use it for gas." And she's like, "No, 10 grand." He's like, "Hey, man."
Yeah. So when he's a kid, somebody like a wizard or a gnome or something gives him advice and
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like hang on to all your stuff. Don't ever let your stuff go, and you'll be
Right?
rich.
Yeah.
So he takes his college money, which he's been saving, and he buys this fancy car, right? And he doesn't let his mom throw any of his stuff away, his baseball cards, whatever it was back then. I think it was like the 30s or something, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so time goes on. You don't really see it, but as Todd said, he's an old man now, and he's got a car. His car's all broken down. It's just crapping out, but he's got all the stuff. He never got rid of his stuff, and now that he's an old man, all of his junk is worth a ton of money. So the lady makes him the offer, and he goes, "Oh, great!" And then I think the next scene, isn't he like old, but he's like
He's got millions and millions of
putting
dollars
on the Ritz kind of
Yeah,
thing.
he's got a
and
huge
got
mansion.
his car all fixed up, and that stuff.
Yeah,
that was a fun episode.
That was episode 16 on season 1.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, that was
And
from the
the-
80s, you say?
It was
Yeah.
1985. Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
does Apple also have Foundation? Is it on?
Foundation's on
all right.
Apple. Have you seen that?
No,
I saw the previews for it. It
Yeah,
looked
me
pretty
too.
cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
like that series.
I'm going to put one of those on my list. Yeah, we watched The Silo, which we thought was good. It's a bunch of people not trapped, but they all live in this silo, and nobody knows why they're there. Nobody knows who built the silo, but they have this community, and it's very strict on children, which Mike would love greatly. You can't, not everybody can have kids. You kind of get selected for a job. It's a very communal society. There's like 10,000 people that live there, but they gotta keep a really good balance.
I was going to say, is it like M. Night Shyamalan's The Village?
No, nothing like that. Way more sci-fi-y, but then they outlaw relics. So if you find something like an old hard drive or a watch or something from the before times, they're outlawed. They're cataloged, and they have like a secret police that try to keep everything under control. And there's different branches of government. And but I like the lady. I can't think of her name. The lady that is the lead in it is really good. And then they have a bunch of actors that have been around for a long time that make small appearances, or they'll be on for a couple episodes. They start the show, but then they something happens to them and they're not on the show anymore. So yeah, it's a pretty cool show. It's a good concept.
Nice.
And we've been wanting to see what happens, and then we finally, at the cliffhanger of the season 1, we're like, oh shit, okay, this is interesting. Shit's about to get real.
Yeah.
Is there a season 2 available?
Not season 2 yet. This was the first season. Just came out a couple of months ago. So I usually hate to watch a show until it gets a couple seasons so I can binge the shit out of it. But now I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to wait a year.
Have either of you watched Strange New Worlds yet? Star Trek Strange New Worlds?
Yes, I watched the first season.
This finale for season 2 was pretty awesome. There's a crossover with Lower Decks.
Oh, nice.
If you're familiar with Lower Decks, it's an animated.
Which I have enjoyed.
Yeah.
So the two key characters.
But they bring them back as real actors, right? Not animated.
Well, that's the thing is the two actors that are brought over to Strange New Worlds are probably the only actors who actually look like their characters.
Well, there's that. Yeah.
So Broimer and I can't remember the black girl's name, but yeah, the girl who's like the daughter of the captain on Lower Decks.
Yeah, no,
those two come over to Strange New Worlds.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. And it's pretty good. Broimer, is it Broimer or Boimer? But either way, he like has a total fanboy moment when he sees Pike and Spock. He's like I can't say anything. I don't want to tell you anything about the future, but you're both like amazing. And
Oh my God.
he's like, I'm a huge fan, and they're like, what?
Nice.
Why am I important? I'm okay.
Well, Pike already knows he's gonna die at some point. So
And that's the thing. He's like, I don't want to tell you anything. It's like, I already know. You do? It's like, yeah. But if you haven't seen it yet, it's easily my favorite like Star Trek episode since the time that Scotty showed up on Next Generation.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Best crossover
and Scotty has connections here at this here theater.
Oh yeah, he lived out in Duval before he died.
I think his wife is a major donor, or was at one point a major donor. I think she. There's something around here that's beat me up.
Yeah.
So it might be one of the stars out on the front or something like that. Yeah.
I only know he lived in out in Duval because a friend of mine, or a guy I used to know, lived out that way, and he was going into, I think, Pizza Hut or some other pizza place to pick up his pizza, and as he calls him, Jimmy walked in to pick up his food, and he just sat there and squirmed in his seat. As he realized that Scotty's standing 2 feet away from him,
man,
and I guess Mr. Doohan saw him steaming and boiling. Could see the excitement.
You can talk to me,
And he did something like this, like, hey, how you doing? He's like, oh God, I'm doing good.
Wasn't Doohan? Wasn't he a World War II vet?
Yeah. He was also his ashes went up on the shuttle.
That's right. Yeah. What a cool dude.
I guess he had or still does have out there. I don't know if it's still there or not, but a farm out there in Duval with horses.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't know if his wife is still with us or if she's joined him.
I don't know.
Whatever in the beyond. Mike, what about you? Any new fun stuff that you've come across?
I don't know.
That's okay.
Just stuff I've been listening to a couple of the fictional podcasts, the full cast stuff. One called Mars Fall, which I like. So just about colonists being sent to Mars and everything goes wrong. But it's nice. Sound effects are good.
Okay.
Pacing's good. Yeah, I've enjoyed that.
We should do an episode or two where we do readings of a book.
Wow, I'd be down.
Oh yeah, I'll do 1984.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh man.
Ready Player 2.
God.
Just because I want to read out loud all the parts that have to do with Prince. It's
Right on.
great.
Yeah, I'm down. I know they do readings here occasionally, which I've thought about maybe even getting in on. Kind of fun.
Yeah, I kind of want to do the Edgar Allan Poe. In October.
Yeah. Is that coming up again in October?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do they do? Like Telltale Heart, or do they do?
I think you get to pick what you want to do, and then you can do it in a number of ways.
There's a lot of
I kind of
different
want to
people
do
do
Annabelle
different-
Lee set to music. Actually.
Isn't Poe the one who did The Raven?
Yeah.
Yeah. I only know.
Amongst a bunch of other shit.
I only know of that one because of The Crow.
Yeah.
And is he credited with the first detective story?
I don't know.
Poe?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was actually a movie with Batman himself, Christian Bale. I think it's on Netflix. But Bale's character comes in contact with a young Edgar Allan Poe when he was at West Point.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out murders of West Point cadets is happening. And it was a pretty good movie. I think it's something Blue Eyes.
I think the Pale Blue
Pale Blue Eye. Yeah. And that wasn't a bad movie. I like that.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
Yeah. And the guy that played Edgar Allan Poe is a terrific actor, and I wouldn't be able to tell you his name. He was also in the Queen's Gambit, the chess show that was on Netflix. So, all right, boys. Anybody got anything else? Other positive things? If you can beat my quotes.
Well, one positive I think of is the other side of the battery.
That's always positive.
You know what I found out recently, and I didn't know this until just a few days ago. The joke, why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? And it's not to get to the other side of the street; it's to get to the other side.
Oh, to get killed and get to the other side?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I guess
I don't know.
it's open to
on-
interpretation.
But no, that's something it never occurred to me that was the way. It was like, this is a suicide joke? What the fuck?
My favorite has always been, and I tried this at the Gong Show, is why did the pervert cross the road?
Because he was stapled to the chicken.
Couldn't get his dick out of the chicken.
No.
Oh, that was the punk that got the stapled to the chicken. Never mind.
All right, boys. Well, I hope you folks find a silver lining out there. Don't get struck by lightning as you're looking. Go to r-townpodcast.com. Definitely become a member. It's only $3 a month or
yeah.
$30 a year.
Greatly appreciated.
Lots of good stuff in there. And you support the show, the three of us. We will love you for it.
Yes.
And we'll
And-
love you anyway, but we'll love you even more.
And don't forget to follow us on social media as Our Town Pod.
Rate and review.
Rate and review, follow, and hit the chime button on the YouTubes. And for this week, we'll see you again.
Adieu.
Adieu. Bye-bye.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you think this episode is worth $1 or $5, the boys would love to have it. Please go to ourtownpod.store for merch or to donate now. For less than a cup of coffee, you can also join the website in the member-only area for exclusive bonus content, blogs, and more. It's just $3 a month or $30 a year. Thank you for listening to this production of Our Town Podcast Extraordinaire.